What's up, everybody? Stevie B here from Dynasty Life Fantasy Football, and today's video is going to be 9 running backs that you can find on the waiver wire that can cost you nothing for you to stash those players. And these are not guys that are going to be giving you starts for the full season where they're going to take over a backfield or anything like that. These are guys that may get a few spot starts. They can find themselves in that backup role, and they can also get you some picks during the season. If somebody gets injured, you can trade some of these guys for some picks, get some assets that way, basically for free. First running back that we're going to talk about is going to be Jerome Ford. Should be on waiver wires, basically for free. Probably not rostered on any rosters. Most of these guys are not going to be. But currently the what RB3 for the Browns, backing up Chubb and Hunt, and then Ernest Johnson. Really, he's like the number 4. So going into next year, Hunt most likely will not be there. And then you've got Ernest Johnson as well, who's going to be a free agent. So I don't think they bring him back either. I mean, it's possible, of course, but if they don't, Jerome Ford can find himself as the RB2 for the Cleveland Browns. So, if he does wind up getting, in that backfield as the RB2 going into next season, could be a value going forward, whether he gives you some spot starts or whether you can trade him away for a pick and just gain some assets. So next running back, we just briefly mentioned him, Ernest Johnson, is going to be a free agent now. And he could find himself in a place where he can get a role. I mean, the guy was productive when he did play, when we saw, last year with the injuries, and Ernest Johnson came in and played really well. Let's see here. So, yeah, I mean, 22 carries, 146 yards. That one game he came and played in. The next game that he played in, that he had significant playing time, 19 for 99. I mean, 8 targets, 7 receptions. So another one here at the end, 25 for 123. So the guy can play. It's just a matter of actually trying to get on the field. So, Ernest Johnson, pick him up, stash him, and see where it takes you next year, whether he gets a job somewhere or finds himself as the backup. This way you can, of course, trade him, get a pick or something like that. Next running back up is going to be Snoop Connor. So Snoop Connor currently like the RB3 over there. You've got Hasty as the RB2, but Hasty is going to be a free agent. Do they bring him back? I don't know. If they don't, Snoop Connor is a guy that can be the RB2 there. So barring injury, like I've been saying, can get you some spot starts as well as be a tradable asset. The fourth running back we can go ahead and stash is going to be SALVON AHMED from the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, did not get any burn really this year at all. They just kind of had a bunch of running backs there. But Mostert obviously is on that 1 year deal. You've got Wilson on that 1 year deal as well. So there's a chance that those guys don't return and Ahmed finds himself, a role in the backfield or as the backup. So again, for free, go ahead and stash them. And especially at this time of the year where people are, really just trying to trim up their rosters, get ready for the draft and stuff like that. RB number 5 is going to be Jordan Mason from the San Francisco 49ers. They did pick up, you know, Davis Price, but he's lost that role. Jordan Mason, the unrestricted free agent, has beat him out for that third string role. So of course you've got CMC, you've got Elijah Mitchell, and then you've got Jordan Mason. So CMC and Mitchell, both of those guys tend to, they can get dinged up. They are good running backs. So Jordan Mason could find himself, a role where, he's valuable to you. Again, whether you're putting him in to start or whether you're trading him away, for an asset, whatever you can get there. But yeah, Jordan Mason, stash him on the benches. He's been a little bit, even this year. I mean, he's had a couple games where he's played a little bit because, Elijah Mitchell was out. So RB number 6 is going to be Ty Chandler from the Minnesota Vikings. You've got an aging Dalvin Cook. You've got, Alexander Madison, who is a free agent going into, next year. So most likely he won't be back. He might want to, try and find himself a role somewhere. And the Vikings may very well sign somebody in free agency or again, go and draft somebody. But, in the chance that they don't, Ty Chandler is a guy that can find himself a role in the backfield or again as that backup running back. You can see there's a pattern between all of these guys here. The seventh RB I got for you is going to be Malik Davis from the Dallas Cowboys. We know that Pollard is a free agent. There's a possibility they bring Pollard back. There's a possibility they don't. There's a possibility that they get rid of Zeke. There's a possibility that they don't. But one of the two, I think, has got to go. I don't think they have enough money to pay for both of them. So in that case, Malik Davis can possibly be the RB2 on that Cowboys team. He can find himself a role like Tony Pollard did. Obviously with the aging Zeke, if Zeke is the guy that they choose to keep, or vice versa, if they decide to keep Pollard instead, then maybe Malik Davis has a role in that offense, or at least as the backup. So another good guy to go out and stash, cost you absolutely nothing. RB number 8 that I got for you to stash is going to be Kevin Harris of the New England Patriots. Damian Harris is a free agent. The Patriots never seem to re-sign any of their running backs. They kind of just draft them and just, roll through till that contract is up. So you've got Ramondre Stevenson in that backfield next year if they don't re-sign Damian Harris. And then you've got, Kevin Harris and Pierre Strong. I mean, unless again they sign somebody or get somebody in free agency. But Kevin Harris, there's a possibility that he can have some kind of a role, or at least be a backup on that team. And the ninth running back I got from you, just spoke about him, Pierre Strong again of the New England Patriots. There's a chance, like we said, that he can be the RB2 if only Stevenson is there and they don't sign anybody. Again, we don't know what is going to happen. We can't tell the future, but we can at least try and prepare and take these dart throws that cost you, absolutely nothing. All of these guys we mentioned, all nine of these guys, they should be on waiver wires. If they're not, maybe a fourth round pick, but these guys are just dart throws that you can throw out there. It cost you absolutely nothing. You're just hoping that one of these guys, or maybe a couple of these guys, actually get, that backup role in the backfield next year. So, you take a swing on some of these guys and hopefully, something can come out of it. If nothing comes out of it, that's fine. It didn't cost you absolutely anything. But, in some of these cases, when some of these, top backs go down and that owner does not have the backup or doesn't have anyone else to play, and you've got the backup that's going to be starting for the next game or the next few games, you can find yourself, a fourth round pick, a third round pick, maybe even a second round pick in dire circumstances, or, going into the playoffs. So, these are guys that you can actually get something for if they do wind up, being in that backfield. And again, just want to make myself clear, I do not expect any of these guys to take over a backfield. We're just hoping that they have some kind of role, or they can just be the backup to have some kind of value. That will wrap up this video on the RBs to stash that could cost you absolutely nothing. While everyone else is trying to, strip down their rosters, get rid of guys that they don't need to make room for the incoming rookies, you can take advantage of that and pick up some of these guys just to hold. There's no rush to, strip out some of your roster. You can make your draft picks still and not have the room for them. They're not going to tell you till after you've got to drop an X amount of players after you draft. So, use up your IR spots, use up your bench for now, just to kind of, see if you can hit on one or maybe more of any of these guys, to find and get you some draft capital, during the season. Or again, you can use any of these guys as well. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comments there. Whether you agree with some of these guys, whether you don't. Make sure you hit that like, make sure you hit that subscribe. It does tremendously help out the channel. It's a great way to support us. But we definitely appreciate you. Keep an eye out for the next video that'll be coming out. I think I have another 9, maybe 10 running backs. And those are guys that are going to be probably on people's teams, most likely. And you're going to have to spend maybe a fourth round pick, or you can get them thrown in, in a trade or something like that. So just keep an eye out for that video. Again, thanks guys for tuning in.